is a place.
No, no, no. Home is a feeling.
Home is my motherland.
It's more where you feel alive and inspired.
Well, I think we're talking about the same thing, aren't we? Home is where our story begins.
What's your story?
Homesick at Home every Friday from 9 to 10 p.m.
on Radio Van 103.1 with Ina MK
and Rina D.
Shot City. I'm coming home again.
Good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen. This is Homesick at Home, our English-speaking show on air every Friday night from 9 to 10 p.m. And here we are in our studio again with my co-host, amazing Rina D, and lovely myself.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Ina. Good evening to our guest tonight.
Good evening, Sam Ghushchyan.
Hey, how's it going? I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, and we're excited too. And lately we have the tendency to invite teenagers.
We're doing good here.
So, yeah. That's a good sign, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let's hope so.
So let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Boulder, Colorado, in the United States, and I basically spent my entire life there until about I was 11 years old. Mm-hmm. And
how was it?
It was great. Like, I had such a great life there. In terms of, like, I was really active in my community. I was really focused with my academics and with sports and stuff. And I just had a full life.
Cool.
So, yeah, that was pretty interesting.
The way you said my entire life. How old are you?
Oh, my gosh. I don't even remember. It's such a big number nowadays. 16. Oh,
nowadays. Okay. And why did you move to Armenia? Why? How? Tell us about your family a bit.
Well, my parents were born and raised here, and they moved to the States to get their education, and then, they started their family there as well. Mm-hmm. And my parents wanted to move back for a few years before we actually did, and they wanted to because Armenia was always their home. They always felt at home here, and they didn't really feel that as much in the States. They did a lot. I mean, it was great there, but they still felt Armenia was their home, here at Yerevan specifically. So then my dad finally got a job here, so we had the opportunity to move, and we did.
And how did that make you feel?
It made me feel a lot of things. Like, at first I hated it because I had to leave, like, this huge life that I had behind.
You hated the decision?
I hated this decision because, at the time, I sound like an old person, I realize this, but at the time when I was a little boy,
I did that. I think I'm
at the time,
cause.
Yeah. At the time when I was still like a little boy, I felt like everything I had there was going to be forever. And I felt like it's such a big deal that I'm moving away and leaving all this behind. Mm. And for like the first year that I was here, I really like hated it. I was constantly like, I want to go back. I hate it here. I hate it. It's so bad. But, after a while, I started discovering myself in a lot of other things. And I started making a lot of friends and actually getting to know real Armenians. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of developed this feeling of home here at last, after about a year of struggling. And that was when I was like, yeah, this was a good decision to come to Armenia.
Okay.
And who are they, the real Armenians?
The real Armenians? Right here. No, I mean, there's just so much hospitality, like, in all Armenians. Even, like, a lot of people who don't have a lot of stuff, a lot of things, a lot of opportunities, they like to share or show what little they might have. And, like, I haven't really felt that anywhere else in the world except for Armenia.
So, what are the main differences between Americans and Armenians?
Oh boy.
Since you say you haven't seen that anywhere else.
What else?
Because people here, whether it's for the better or for the worse, they actually care just about everything, pretty much. Everything is made a big deal, and sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, but
sometimes too much.
Sometimes, yeah. But the idea is that, I mean, it just makes it easier to live around people, knowing that they're not just asking you, oh, hey, how's it going, just as a way of saying hello. Mm-hmm. It's actually, if someone actually asks you, hey, how's it going, they actually want to know about. You have to
tell everything.
Yeah. Oh, so yesterday I woke. Oh, it was so horrible. Like, they want you to tell a story. People are like, yeah, maybe they're nicer in the States, maybe, but like, it's insincere, and it is. Mm. So I guess that's what it is here. When people are nice, it's sincerely nice.
So people are more sincere here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You use the word hate. It's a strong word.
I know it's.
What was it that was so difficult in the beginning?
I think there were a lot of factors that contributed to it. Like at first, I didn't really know Armenian that well. I thought I spoke Armenian until I actually spoke to people who spoke Armenian, and then I realized, oh, I don't know this language as well as I thought I did. So that was like, the language barrier was one thing. Moving to a city, because before that I lived in, the suburbs, and, city life is a lot different than that. Mm-hmm. That was also like a really big change. And it was hard to get used to, but,
And that was your first visit to Armenia when you actually moved, or you were?
No,
here before?
we visited several times before in the past, for summer or winter, and just to see our family and stuff. And it was always, great, but it was...
So you did have a general idea of where you were coming.
There is a good joke about don't mix the tourism with immigration.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it, because when we were visiting, my life was like, okay, 14 days, let's see. Oh, so Armenia is my aunt's house, Armenia is my grandma's house, it's Khorovats, it's this, it's that. Like, I didn't really know what it actually was or what the life was like here. So for me, it was like, oh yeah, it's just fun there 24/7. But, moving here and actually living here, it's a completely different story. Having to go to school and, just having your daily routine in a different country is just a different story, I guess.
Amazing. This young man sounds so mature. And we've got many questions for you, but now we have to go on an advertisement break, and we'll come back soon with more questions for you. This is Homesick at Home, and we're here on Radio Van till 10 p.m., not a.m. Stay tuned.
Ina,
Yes, Rena.
I feel homesick.
You want to talk about it?
This Friday,
Every Friday on Radio Van.
Homesick at Home.
Homesick at Home.
We're back, and we're here with Sam Ghushchyan. For those of you who just tuned in, Sam is 16. He moved here to Armenia from Colorado, and he has much to tell us.
And he likes our jingles.
I really do. I was going to say those are such good transitions. Like, you really nailed them. But,
thank you.
Yeah.
And before we move back to our conversation, I would like to mention that today is our Shushanik's birthday.
Yes.
And we will use this opportunity to say
Happy
birthday to you. Okay.
I saw her lipstick cake. That was really cool.
The lipstick cake.
Yeah.
We wish you all the best. And we want you to be here for another 20
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
This year is our radio station's 20th anniversary.
Yes.
So we've got a lot of plans connected with that date. And the best is yet to come. So,
Wow.
and of course, for those of you guys who don't have the opportunity to tune in to our frequency, you can go ahead and watch us live on www.radiovan.fm, which is our official website, also our Facebook page, and also later you'll have the chance to watch the video, the podcast of our shows. So let's go back to your life story.
Yeah. Because it's... Yeah.
Where is home?
Where?
Mm-hmm.
Home is where your Wi-Fi connects automatically.
This was he prepared the
See?
answer to this question.
I was so nervous because I didn't know any of the questions, but I just,
Good job.
That's a 16-year-old
You've
answer.
done your homework
Yeah.
well.
That's a nowadays answer,
Yeah. That's a...
Okay, do you feel homesick when you're here?
No. I feel homesick when I'm, like, somewhere else. Because I honestly feel like my home is here because I have I feel like I have a big life here. I feel like I have a lot of things that are going on here. And when I'm not
Great.
here, that's when I feel homesick most of the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
When? I study.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Most of the time I study.
Where?
I have high school, which is just the best high school there is. Plug. Yeah, and usually, I mean, when I'm not at school, because, school's great. When I'm not at school, I'm usually just either doing homework or, just working on music, all that kind of stuff, just trying to be creative.
Okay, let's have share more details about your relationship with music.
Right. Well, music is actually one of the things that helped me kind of rediscover myself in Yerevan and, feel at home here. Because I didn't actually play music or, play any instruments until I came to Yerevan. And I just found a guitar sitting at my aunt's house. And I was like, oh, let me just figure out how to play this. Blah, blah, blah. And that was fun. And it really helped me meet a lot of new people and just find kind of a community where I can fit in and just have friends. And then there wasn't really much of a language barrier because a lot of the people, I found people that would speak English with me or would speak the type of Armenian that I spoke, which was like broken Armenian. Yeah, and that was just a great way for me to just find myself in the city.
So you said that there's a lot going on in your life here.
Yeah, I think so.
Other than music, what else? What does that include?
Okay, music.
A lot?
I mean, what do you do? I mean, you write music.
Yeah, I write some music, and occasionally have a few performances with my friends and stuff, and it's a lot of fun just because I get to see a lot of familiar faces, and it's just a great way.
Can someone hear you playing somewhere, playing the guitar? You play the guitar, right?
I mainly I play the guitar.
Do you play any other instrument?
I started playing the piano about a year ago. I started taking a few lessons, and then just developed myself from there.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you plan to perform in front of public, in front of people, or?
I mean, I do occasionally. I mean, it's just becoming harder and harder with, more things going on, school and
Studies.
yeah, applications and stuff like that.
So, what are you planning to do after you graduate from high school? I mean, where, what?
Yeah, I tell this to everyone, and they always, just look at me all weird because it doesn't seem like the type of career choice that I would make. But I really want to become a doctor, and I'm really interested in the field of medicine. And yeah, I think I want to pursue that, but probably abroad somewhere, most likely in the States.
So this is a decision already made.
For now, yeah. I feel like I still have a little bit of time to finalize it or, find something else maybe. But for now, this is what I'm passionate about, what I want to do.
But why do people take it in a weird way? I mean,
because because there's people who want to become doctors don't really act the way I do, I suppose. And don't, have...
I hope doctors are not listening right now.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Doctors are having Friday night right now.
Yeah, especially, compared to kids at my school. I'm comparing myself. Well, my friends are comparing me to the people around us. And the people around us, whoever you ask, and they're like, oh, I want to go to the medical university. They're all just constantly focused always, and they're just, studying 24/7 and just trying to get good grades, and that's all they care about. And I feel like I'm often more involved in extracurricular activities than I am in school, especially in the last year. And that's why my friends just they don't really believe me when I say I want to become a doctor, because they're like, I don't know about that, I spent a lot of time, working on my music and performing in small, places and just things like that, I guess.
You'll prove them.
Yeah, I mean,
One
we
day.
have different kinds
Watch
of
this
doctors. We have
becoming a
doctors
doctor.
who can kind of songwrite and,
Yeah. We have thumb up from Sona Akopyan and Adrine Markaryan.
Thumbs up right back.
Yeah, and also I'd like to remind our listeners that we have an application available on your iPhones and Androids, which you can download, Radio Van, and listen to us and watch as well, anywhere you go around the globe. So here, there is the next question coming for our Sam. What was the hardest part about moving to Armenia? Someone has the phone.
Ooh, the hardest part? I'd probably say making friends, I guess. It sounds pretty childish, but it was like that was probably the hardest part in the beginning. You know, there were a lot of things getting in the way. It was, you know, besides the language barrier, there was like kids here didn't really have the same interest that I did at the time. I mean, a lot of kids here they're a lot more serious in the 7th grade and the 6th, 7th grade, and they're just, you know, trying to act like adults. But I don't know, I was never like that.
Oh, what do you mean serious? Like what?
I don't know how to explain it. It's, you know, they feel like they have a lot going on in terms of that, you know, their problems are just huge, big deals, and they're always making it, you know, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. I just didn't really feel like I fitted in that well.
This was, I mean, this is, you're talking about 12 and 13-year-olds,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. Yeah, so.
Interesting. Okay, talking about friends, let's talk about peer pressure.
Let's do it.
Okay, have you ever had that kind of pressure? Can you give us an example of something that happened?
Absolutely.
How you dealt with it?
There's well, yeah, I mean, peer pressure is like a really big deal, especially in Armenia, because a lot of kids, a lot of boys my age especially, start smoking, and like it's always because of peer pressure. It might not be like, oh, come on, just do it, come on, do it. They're not, you know, straight up convincing the other person to do it, but they're creating situations where if, you know, the person in front of me doesn't take my cigarette, oh, like, you're kind of lame,
Okay.
aren't you? And I feel like that's a really big issue, especially in Armenia. Yeah.
So, have you been in a situation like this? How
I
have
have.
you dealt with it?
I have been in situations like that, you know, walking around sometimes, or like going to cafes with some of my friends, and then, you know, some of their friends join us, and they might be a little older, and then, you know, they offer, you know, oh, hey, do you guys smoke? And no, we don't. But it kind of puts you in that situation where people, you know, want to say yes, especially, you know, kids my age, because, oh, that looks so cool, you know, I want to do that. I want to just look
Follow
that.
the norm.
Actually,
Yeah,
it looks cool when you don't smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to fit in and stuff.
Yes. What other kinds of peer pressure?
I feel like something that's a really big deal is also in the school system, because a lot of the kids don't have a chance to show their knowledge, and then when, you know, they kind of get bullied a little bit, and then there's a little pressure on them from the other students to be better next time, and then if they aren't, it just, you know, makes the whole situation kind of worse. And I found that, you know, a lot of kids know the right answer, and they're always good students, but they can't express themselves during the class because there's other kids who kind of overpower them a little bit.
But isn't there, I mean, is this specifically about Armenia, or you can see
I'm not sure,
this
because
kind of stuff anywhere else?
I'm not sure, because the school that I went to in the States, it was a lot more like there wasn't any sort of bullying or peer pressure, because it was, you know, just, it was like a really happy and, you know, safe community. It was a small community. Everybody knew each other. So there was never really much of that going on.
That's
in the
very
classroom.
interesting.
I feel this is really funny.
I mean, I studied in Australia, and this is very strange for me.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the first times when someone says, oh, it was a small community, and now this is Yerevan is a bigger community.
Well, because everybody knows everybody here.
Yeah, everybody knows everybody here in Yerevan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what was
Interesting.
the most risky action you've taken in your life?
Risky action? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's an interesting. I'm glad that you guys gave me time to prepare, because now I'm answering, you know, I'm giving answers that I probably shouldn't oftentimes, and then I'm going to regret later. But so good job, guys. You did well.
This is a room of sincerity.
Is this a safe environment?
Yeah.
Okay. The
Definitely.
biggest. What was the question? The biggest risk?
The most risky action you've taken. In
The
your
most
life.
risky action. Hey, how's it going, guys? How you doing? Actually, I think one of the riskiest actions was this year at my school. I wasn't doing too well last year with my, you know, curriculum. I was falling behind in a lot of subjects. and I didn't really do much to, make up for it. So at the beginning of the year, there was like a really big issue at my school, and there was a possibility that I would have to go to a different school. And the riskiest action that I took was making a really big promise regarding my GPA and my curriculum, and just working really hard to pursue that and reach that goal. And I'm happy to say that I did, and it was really hard for me to do that. I had to put several things aside, like music and art and sports and stuff for a while, just to focus on that. But I think that was a really risky action because it was very likely that I wasn't going to be able to meet the promises that I made. But I eventually did, and I think it taught me a lesson about doing things at the time that you're supposed to do them, because if you don't do them now, eventually you're going to have to...
Do not procrastinate.
Yeah,
ladies
procrastination.
And
not just on a small scale, not just like, oh, I'll do this extra little thing tomorrow. That's like small scale procrastination. I'm talking about, huge scale procrastination. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
that's pretty much it.
I mean, listening to him talk,
Yeah,
he's
we learn
16
here.
and
Yeah.
he's actually talking about responsibilities towards the
See,
promises.
you can't get me with these surprise questions.
He's made.
take notes,
But-
Ranjan.
But the thing is, I heard you talking about your friends. You called them kids.
When?
I mean, the question before this, we were talking about your friends. Like, in general, you kept on saying the word kids. Do you consider yourself to be a kid?
I mean, I considered myself to be a kid then. I think I've grown up a lot more, and I'd like to consider myself a young adult, just because I feel like that gives me a little more, authority or something. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I am a kid, and I like to act like a kid.
Okay, so speaking about young adults and the youth, what does Armenia lack for the youth? What do you think?
Armenia for the youth. Oh, this is interesting.
Long list coming up now.
Yeah. You guys want to go to commercial break and then we'll just come back? Or
No, it's not yet. It's gonna come, but
oh boy, here we go.
in 20 minutes.
I think a lot of the youth here lacks. Well, actually, this is kind of connected to the previous question about peer pressure. A lot of the youth here, they fall to peer pressure a lot. But I mean, I don't want to repeat myself, so I'll just say something else. People don't really respect the environment as much as I would hope they would. It's small things, but eventually it becomes bigger. Just someone just tossing their cigarette on the ground, or just dropping a little, piece of paper or a piece of plastic on the ground, and eventually it just
Littering.
eventually it just makes our entire city worse.
Is this about youth or
It's-
people in general?
People in general, but I'm more sad to see it in the youth because it kind of just shows that
Yeah.
it's
But
going on.
I think you were asking more of what, like, Armenia lacks for the youth,
Oh, Armenia for the
right?
youth.
If I understood the question
Sure.
correctly.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think there's a lot of opportunities in Armenia, but I think a lot of those opportunities are limited to Armenia. I think there's a lack of being able to spread Armenian youth and Armenian knowledge throughout the world. I mean, there are attempts of making it better, and they're actually doing well, but there's still a lot holding people back. Whether it's just the mentality of people or the actual abilities for them to show themselves in the world, not just in Armenia.
Okay, thank you. What does inspire you?
Inspire. That's a great word. I don't know. I'm usually inspired by interest. Just the usual. I'm inspired a lot by my family and by my brother and by my mom and my dad because they've always had huge challenges set before them, and they've always conquered those challenges. And I'm especially inspired by my brother because he's so young and he's accomplished so much, and he's like I don't know. Whenever it doesn't feel like that to me because he's always like made time to hang out with me and, teach me things and always be a good brother to me. And so I've never felt like he's, been successful. And I started realizing that a few years ago when people, kept telling me, your brother's doing this, your brother's doing that. So in other people's eyes, my brother's like 40 years old. But in my eyes, he's just my age. He's my brother, and that's it.
So how old is your brother? What does he do?
He's 20. He's studying at the American University right now, and he's, doing a lot of interesting things in his work, and he's had a nice, inspiring work history, making a startup company, and it's just interesting.
What is he studying?
He's studying English and communication.
And what do your parents do?
My dad is a professor at the university, and my mom has a blog. So that's a good combo.
Tell us a bit about your mom's blog.
Ooh, okay, promotion time. Here we go.
Yeah, ta-da, this is the moment.
So it's called Healthy by You, and it's the best blog on earth. My mom really believes in having a healthy lifestyle and ensuring that you feel happy and beautiful always. So she likes to make meals that we enjoy every day healthier without compromising the flavor of whatever she's making. And it's also very inspiring because she's inspiring people over 30, especially in Armenia. People over 30 consider themselves to be old, and
Yeah.
I don't know, that's what I've noticed.
Right.
Say. But
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
It's time to go home.
Commercial. Yeah, she's inspiring people to really just take their lives and their health in their own hands and just, really develop themselves, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and it's great.
Okay, so being young, staying young and beautiful and healthy is your mom's motto.
Absolutely. It also sounds like an album cover now.
Well,
Young and beautiful.
okay, what's your motto in life?
My motive in life? I don't know. I just, I feel like I'm going to sound old again. My life is a constant struggle just to be happy. And I feel like my motive in life is to connect. Because I'm having the best time of my life, and I'm most happy when I'm connecting with people, whether it's meeting new people or, talking to my friends or connecting with my family. And I don't know, I guess that's just what...
Okay, Sam, connecting people.
You sound like Nokia.
Just like Nokia.
Nokia? Is that their logo?
Nokia, connecting people.
Is that a sponsorship I see? Or
No.
Okay, what hobbies do you have? What do you do in your spare time?
He's mentioned art and sports,
He
so
said
I'd like to hear more about this.
Music, and we know about a few other things that you'd like to
Other
mention.
things. Ooh, this is an interesting question. There's a lot of weird things that I do that other people don't do.
We want to hear.
Yeah, I know you guys do. That's why you asked without like letting me know what you're gonna ask me.
Because we're weird, right?
I like oh boy. I like reading. This is gonna sound cliche, but I like reading. I really like reading a lot. And specifically,
that's weird.
Specifically, no. Here's why. Everybody reads whatever it may be. I like reading about Marx and communism.
No, that's weird.
Yeah. So everybody at school pretty much they just hate me during most of our lessons because I connect anything they say with communism, and it's just a great environment. Pretty much.
I think you're just having fun.
Yeah, but it's very interesting. A
Goofing
person
around
at
with
this
people.
age, enjoying these kinds of books,
Yeah, I mean it's not enjoyment; it's more. It's more.
interest.
Yeah, it's like a lot
Intrigue.
more interest. I just spontaneously. Had
What's
this
your
interest.
favorite quote?
Oh, there will always be the oppressor and the oppressed. Marx and Engels.
Yeah.
Communist Manifesto.
So, what was the last book you read,
The last book I read.
or the one you're reading right now? if
I'm
there's
reading a lot of Murakami right now. I'm actually reading 3 books by him at the same time.
3 books.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
reading.
Which ones?
I'm reading A Wild Sheep Chase.
Okay.
I'm almost done with that one, and it's really interesting. And I'm reading a collection of his stories called Desire.
And the third.
Oh boy, hang on. That's the first one. That's the second one. The third one. No, the third one is actually a Greek author. His name is Alkizay, and the book is called Petrov's War. It's about World War II and World War II in Greece through a young boy's eyes.
Do you always read a few books together at the same time?
Yeah, I feel like I might get bored if I just try to read one book at the same time.
Do you get bored easily?
Easily? No, I don't think so. I think I have a nice attention span for a kid my age. I mean, for a young adult my age.
He said it.
Gotcha. Do you have
Cut right
phobias?
Phobias?
Does a kid your age, a young
A
adult,
young adult.
does a young adult your age have phobias?
Absolutely.
Like,
Spiders and olives.
Olives?
olives?
Yeah, no, they're just weird. Black olives.
Do they look like spiders to you?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you might dislike them, but when you say
I don't know. I just see them and I just like don't want to. I just don't want to come close to them. They just look so shiny and artificially black. I'm like, nah, that's not for me.
This is contagious.
this is a first for me. interesting,
Sam,
though.
always unique, always special, always
You
different.
know it.
The young adult
Yeah.
reading about communism and
Communism is life.
the one that has phobia
And scared of
from
olives. Okay, now we know how to scare you.
Oh boy.
Do you
Should
have a
said that.
favorite dish? Armenian favorite dish?
Armenian? Oh, we were talking about this earlier. Khash for sure.
Do you have your
Hush.
phone?
Yeah, but it's
Do you have
Whose
your
phone
phone?
is this?
my phone's off. I'm responsible.
Well, responsible
Somebody forgot their
young
phone.
Somebody
man.
left their phone
Okay,
on.
somebody's gonna have a trouble later on. But okay, let's let's
Can we get a
go
producer in here? What's going on? Yeah, khash, but more because of like the process of eating khash, not actually the food. The food
Now-
is just
on. Now
Okay.
I respect this young adult.
Okay,
He's
don't
a
do
real
that to me.
Armenian.
no, not because you drink, but because you connect with your family
Okay.
and friends.
It's a ritual.
It's a
you
ritual.
Understand?
I'm gonna try this
Rina.
ritual tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. Your favorite? Do you have a favorite place in Armenia?
My favorite place in Armenia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Ghushchyan a lot. I don't know. It's just, It's just really inspiring, and it's whenever I'm feeling, a different emotion and ever feeling something else in my life, there's always like a place near Ghushchyan that just suits that. Whether it's a
Do you like the upstairs?
yeah,
or-
it feels like each floor is just like a different emotion and just a different memory, I guess. And I don't know, I just like it.
It's interesting.
What is the top?
The top. Oh, the top is
Happy, sad.
top
What-
secret.
What kind of? What
The
kind
top is being
The top is top
reconstructed.
secret.
It's
Okay. What is love,
What is love?
baby?
You know,
This is the first time I guest is doing this. Okay, what is love?
what
I
is
mean, how old were you when this song was out? You were
like -4? Yeah,
A very informed young adult. Okay.
informed. I don't know. I don't really know what love is. I don't know. I guess. Love is an emotion. There we go.
Oh wow!
That was a very scientific answer, wasn't it?
After reading Marx Engels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know it.
Okay.
But he's reading Murakami, so he should kind of know what.
Oh,
love is
you're
all
right.
about.
You know what?
Is it a good emotion?
Love? I don't know. I think so. I think it's good and it's bad. I think it's good no matter what. I think it may lead to bad things, but I think through those bad things, you'll either become a better person or, you won't make the same mistake again.
There you go.
Yeah, just like, was it Aristotle or I think it was Aristotle that said every man should get married because he either ends up happy or a philosopher.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what
Nice.
he's saying.
Hey, Sam,
Yeah.
do you have dreams?
Like when I sleep at night, do I
No.
have dreams? Yeah. I
The
have
other ones.
the other ones? Okay.
Like
Yeah.
like the goals and then the
Ambitions,
dreams.
dreams.
Yeah, I have a lot of dreams.
What do you dream of?
I dream of going to South Africa. I don't know. It's just a really weird thing that I've just wanted to do since I was 8 years old. Just go to South Africa.
Who do you want to go with?
I want to go with my brother because I feel like we'll have the greatest adventure ever.
Just the two of you?
Yeah,
What's his name?
his name is Max.
Hey, Max.
Is he
hello.
watching us now?
Probably, I don't know.
We say
Hello, Max. And hello to all of Sam's family. You've raised an amazing guy.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome for my existence.
I cook it. Okay. Sam, you seem like a relaxed young adults.
Scene. That's a good one.
Is there anything that kind of irritates you, makes you angry or nervous? Maybe like a trait in people or other things.
Oh
Angry.
yeah. I mean, I don't like it when people are rude to each other. I guess I don't know. That's a kind of regular person answer, but I am a regular person, so that's fine.
Now, don't be afraid of being a regular person.
Regular people are great. Okay. Yeah, I don't like it when people aren't nice to each other.
And while you're thinking, I will say Mariam Manukyan has sent a smiley.
You know who
face.
Mariam Manukyan is?
No.
That's my auntie.
Oh,
Okay.
hello.
We say hello.
Hello, auntie.
I'm pretty sure, unless there's
Hello,
there's like
Sam's
16,000 Mariam Manukyans, but
she's here.
no, she's in America.
And then
Oh,
Maher
sorry.
Harutyunyan waves at you.
I don't think I know Maher Harutyunyan.
Okay.
Anyway.
Just be kind, wave back.
Hey, Maher, how's it going?
And then some more hearts and kisses from Mariam Manukyan, your auntie.
Yeah, it's definitely my aunt. Yeah, okay.
Auntie Mariam.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best. I love her so much.
He's got the best family ever.
Yeah.
You don't even
This is
know.
what I learned. Emi Aslanyan, thumb up.
Hey,
Zoya Marutyan, you know who she is? Zoya. Armenia.
I feel like I'm gonna say no now, and then like half an hour later, I'm gonna get an angry phone call.
And then Maher
Where were you?
Harutyunyan says, "Nice job, Sam."
Thanks, Maher. That's nice.
And then your brother, I guess, yeah, Max. Hello, Max.
Hey, Max.
He says, "Hey, baby."
Hey, baby. Sorry I talked about communism, but I had to do it.
And more kisses from Lika Davtyan. Mariam
Yeah, Lika
Manukyan says,
Davtyan
"Hey,
is
guys."
Really close friend of my mom.
Okay. Sam, is there
We
anything...
have a very popular young
Yeah,
adult. in
yeah,
our
but-
studio.
Oh,
I was
yeah, I'm so
thinking about
popular
that.
among
So
my
that the-
aunts and uncles.
The comments keep coming and coming. Okay, Rena John, go ahead.
What is it that is very important for you nowadays? Is there anything that is like the top there? I have to do this right now, and then kind of think about other stuff.
Yeah, I've become really competitive. I feel like because of the story I told you about the past few months of my education, I've become really competitive in the classroom, especially. So I guess that's pretty much it. Because whenever my friends do a certain assignment, I have to do it too, and I feel bad that I didn't do it, and sometimes I get upset, and yeah.
And what has that given you?
I think it's given me a lot of motivation both inside and outside of the classroom. It's given me the ability to not procrastinate and to really see the effect of a day's work in the bigger picture.
Well,
I'm Sam, and I'm
since-
64 years old.
Well, since this mature young adult is sitting in our studio, I want to ask this really grown-up question.
Let's go.
Okay.
Ina, what are you going to ask?
Yeah, it's nothing.
This isn't what happened in rehearsals.
Thought about
The
this.
family is watching, so so I'm cautious. Sam,
Yeah.
what is freedom, and does freedom of choice exist?
Freedom of choice and what?
What is freedom?
Freedom? Freedom is doing...
An interview on Homesick At Home.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly what I was thinking. How'd you know? Freedom is I'm gonna be John Locke real quick. Freedom is doing whatever you want as long as you don't negatively affect the freedom of someone else.
But do you think you can manage to do that all your life?
No, I think we're all bound to make some mistakes. I don't think you can always just...
Is he really 16? I don't believe this.
Nah.
I don't know, Urina. You brought this guy to the studio.
Benjamin
Now I
Button.
understand why you're close with my daughter, because now I get it, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty much... Yeah.
Hello, Gagach. Does freedom of choice exist?
Freedom of choice? I mean, it depends. It depends what the choice is. Because a lot of people have the opportunities and the resources and the ability to choose what they do. I mean, there's people, okay, for every day, for example, I can choose what I want to eat for lunch, for example, every day. But there's some people in the world that can't do that, and that's like something that's out of their freedom. That's besides their freedom. They have to eat a bowl of rice. That's it. They can't, choose. But there's people, for example, me, I have to take the bus to school every day. I don't have another choice. But like, some, rich kid in somewhere else in the world gets to take his dad's Ferrari to school, and that's great. But I mean, there's no really telling which one's better.
Interesting. When you hear a teenager, you ask them a question and they say it depends, because usually teenagers know everything,
They do know everything.
They do not use the word it depends, It's like it's cool. I like these teenagers,
Well,
Me and your daughter?
Do you hear this silence? Kind of everybody's thinking their own thing right now. And okay, we have to come back to reality. What would you change about yourself? You know everything. You're so smart, so mature.
I know.
So you have a great family. You're so different. And what else?
No, I'm not.
Well, unique. Okay. What would you change about yourself? Is there anything?
No, nothing. No, nothing ever. I don't think so. I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't want to snap my fingers and have that thing change. I would want to work towards that and have it change then, because I'd feel much better afterwards. I know for sure.
Okay, so what is that thing that you would want to work on and change?
I'd like to be kinder to my friends, because sometimes sometimes I express, my own issues and the negative things in my life, and if it affects the positive things in their life. And, that's a big issue that I'm facing.
Wow. Reevaluation at this age. Wow.
I'm 64 years old.
I think we should go on an advertisement break, because Rena has to drink some water and I get to take my pills, because we're all stressed out here.
Cheers, everybody.
Shocked. Okay, this is Homesick at Home. We will be here for another 8 minutes with you guys, and if you missed the show, you better watch it later, because it was really you better watch it later.
You better do it.
Because it was really interesting. Sam Ghushchyan in our studio will be back.
Ina, I thought this was an English-speaking show.
Are we on air?
Yes.
Every Friday night.
Homesick at Home. We're back, and we're doing it every Friday night. Yes, we are.
That was the best one yet.
We have a few more.
I think we are still able to surprise a really cool young adult.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
good.
makes us cool, actually,
Great. Now we have some questions requested and offered by
Ooh.
your brother.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask it right
This
now.
is great. Oh boy, I know what it is.
We're asking you.
Wait. He knows what it is. Let him guess.
No.
No,
I'm
he
just
just
saying
said
that. I'm
he
just
knows
saying that
what
for
it
the.
is.
I'm saying that for the viewership. Don't worry, I'm getting the views.
Okay. Are you going to talk or what?
Let's go. Let's hear the question. I don't
Okay.
know.
Ask him. And we're asking you about your ice skating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, thank God it's that question. Yeah. I already said that I was, involved in sports.
Tell us everything, all about all your achievements.
And Max, can you ask the other question, please?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, go ahead. Ice skating.
Yeah, as I said, I was really involved with sports back in America before I moved to Armenia, and yeah, I was a figure skater, and it was really awesome. It was such a big part of my life. I was training, a lot in the morning for 2 hours and after school for 2 hours, and it was great. And I was always that kid at school who was dressed sporty, because I would just wake up at 6 and go to the arena and just go to school, and then it was a really intense regime, but I loved it. And I had few, I guess, achievements.
What are they?
Competing at regionals, getting, second place at regionals in the
Wow.
United States.
And you
winning-
were a champion.
I was a champion.
Okay.
I won the Aspen Invitational a few years in a row. A few other competitions in Colorado. And yeah, it's pretty much And then when we came to Armenia, the move was really hard. And there wasn't really much involvement in the sport here, so I had to drop
Do you
it for a
miss
few
that
years.
a lot?
I missed it so much for so long that I trained this entire summer off the ice, and I finally bought myself a pair of skates, and now I'm back on the ice, and it's
Wow.
Great.
best
That's
feeling.
nice to hear that.
yeah.
So we're hosting a champion here.
Wow.
You guys
Wow.
don't even know.
A
We need
very
another hour.
modest, very humble champion.
And someone says hi to you. Suren Pogosyan.
Hi, Sudan.
Hi. Okay. So that's about your achievements in sports. What do you plan to achieve in music? Tell us more.
In music?
What
Oh,
is
well, I always
music?
tell your daughter, I always tell Gaga that it was my dream to play at iHeartRadio. And, I feel like it still is in my subconscious mind, but in my conscious mind, it still isn't. I have other, dreams that I want, that I feel are, more realistic and more, realistic isn't a good word, but I feel are more relevant to me. And I just want to be able to have, just several, nights a month or like a few times a year where I just play for, me and my friends and my community, and we just share our music. And I just like that most.
Do you have recordings of your songs?
No.
Not yet. No or no?
Songwriting, this is something important, especially at this age, you do have your own songs, and I've heard them, and they're pretty good.
Oh, that feels, well, I feel,
No, seriously.
Okay.
Having this talent at this age, it's something you should also work on. Not necessarily as a career, but as a side thing, as a passion, because you are talented.
thank you. That's very
And
humbling.
I want to hear the elder brother's call, because he shares with us that you're being modest, that you won so many gold medals and you don't want to share about
Oh,
it.
wow.
What are the
we've-
secrets you keep from us? This is the red couch and the room of honesty.
Yeah,
How
you can't
could
do
you?
that. No right.
Yeah, red is the color of honesty, probably, or something. I don't know.
This is a new concept. You don't know.
I don't know. I don't have that many achievements. I'm just good at getting what I want, I guess. And I just find ways to do that, and in the process of it, maybe achieve something, I guess.
You know what?
Ooh,
We wish you all the
Interesting.
best
Yes.
in
Thank
your
you.
life. We wish you all the gold medals of any area that you want to achieve.
Thank you. I wish you all the same.
And
And if we
it
have
was-
any,
yes, go ahead.
if we have any teenagers listening out there, just
Listen
just
and
listen
learn,
and
you guys.
just follow.
don't say
No,
that.
seriously, we are proud to have teenagers like you in this
Aw.
country. Seriously,
That's
And
so
we're
nice.
now
Very
happy to
important.
have a friend like you. So I
Yes.
hope this is not the last time we're seeing you here.
a young
Hopefully.
adult.
And yeah, young adult, by the way. We are all connected in music here, so maybe one
Absolutely.
day we can cooperate. Who
That would be
knows?
wonderful. I can't wait.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, we have another minute for our last question. Is there anything you want to tell to our show, to us personally, or
I do.
something like that?
This is my
your
time to-
last word.
My last words. My time to do my plug. Here we
Yeah.
go. Follow me on Instagram. No, no. Seriously though,
Ta-da!
I want to say I'll just keep it short. Be kind. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Be happy, and just pay attention to people around you, because oftentimes things that you do might, might affect them in ways that you didn't anticipate. I'm talking about myself, by the way. I guess that's all I want to say. Yeah, just thanks to all my friends and to my school for being so supportive, and my parents and my brother, of course, Ave Noraid. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
This was
I-
like an Oscar moment.
Yeah, I think
I'd like to thank the Academy.
I think that you're a very old soul in a very young body.
That's really
Seriously.
And
I'm
old
speechless.
is the best in the best
In the
meaning.
best way.
Because Rinajan, after 30 you're considered old, and we are
I'm not considered. You just you shouldn't
You're just
consider
old.
yourself.
They just think We're old. You know,
Exactly.
that's it.
You're a young soul.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing. Okay, guys, thanks for having this nice chat. We're about
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, we're leaving right now, our listeners, but we will be back next Friday. This was a great chat with Sam Ghushchyan, and we learned a lot from him tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks for having me. It was so much fun.
We hope that you enjoyed these old ladies around you.
Absolutely. In the best way.
And thanks again for your family,
Yes.
to
indeed.
your family, for raising a guy like you.
A gentleman, I would say.
Yeah. This was Homesick at Home.
heart.
If you missed this show, you missed a lot. So make sure you catch up by finding the video on our website and also on our Facebook page. Have a great Friday night, an amazing weekend. We'll be back.
Enjoy it. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.